The water was still running when I locked the door. That sound, constant, careless, felt like an insult. Steam leaked through the frame, fogging the hallway mirror. I saw my face blur into something unrecognizable. Good. Clarity could wait. Inside the bathroom, movement. A sharp inhale. My name broken in half. I didn't answer. I slid the bolt home. Metal on metal. Final. My phone vibrated in my hand like it already knew what came next. I dialed his wife. Not my wife's sister. His wife. Precision matters. "You need to come over," I said. "Now." She asked why. I didn't give her that comfort. I leaned my forehead against the door and listened to the tub drain. Panic has a rhythm. It speeds up, trips over itself. I cataloged it like data. I thought about time. How long it takes for lies to fossilize, how long before they feel like history instead of choices. Headlights cut across the living room wall minutes later, more than one set. When the doorbell rang, I opened it calmly. She stood there, eyes sharp, jaw tight, and behind her, she hadn't come alone. People think betrayal arrives like a scream. It doesn't. It arrives as a pattern you can't unsee. I had noticed things before the bathtub, the way my wife guarded her phone like it carried a pulse, the way he avoided eye contact and then overcompensated, too friendly, too helpful, the way our son tilted his head when he smiled, a mirror that refused to reflect me. I told myself, biology is chaotic, love is enough. Men like me don't question miracles, but the math kept failing. When I stepped aside and let them in, his wife, my wife's mother, and a man in a gray coat who didn't bother introducing himself yet, I felt the room shift. Gravity recalibrated. The bathroom went quiet. I remembered every time my wife touched my arm and said I was paranoid, every time she used softness as anesthesia. Shock didn't come. Recognition did. This wasn't discovery, this was confirmation. Weeks before that night, I started counting. Calls, gaps, receipts folded into books she never read. I photographed everything, time-stamped it, built a timeline so clean it felt sterile. I watched them together at family dinners, the careful distance, the private jokes that landed half a second too late. He never touched her in public. He didn't have to. I ordered a DNA test online, plain packaging, no drama. I told myself it was curiosity, a scientist's itch. I was calm. I cooked dinner. I helped with homework. I kissed my wife goodnight and counted her breaths until they evened out. Inside, something was pacing. When the results came, I didn't open them right away. I made coffee. I straightened the papers on my desk. I practiced the face I'd need. Control is a muscle. I'd been training it my whole life. I called the investigator, the gray coat. He confirmed what I already knew and uncovered what I hadn't asked for yet. Burner phones, a rented apartment, years, not months. I didn't confront them. I set the stage. Back in the hallway, I unlocked the bathroom door. They stood there wrapped in towels, skin flushed, eyes wild. My wife saw her mother first. That's when she broke. Not for me, for the audience. I handed the folder to his wife. She flipped through it without blinking. Photos, dates, messages that read like rehearsals. The investigator cleared his throat and slid out the last page, the paternity report. The room emptied itself of sound. My wife's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Words fell out, slippery and useless. I didn't raise my voice. I asked one question. How long were you planning to let me raise someone else's child? She collapsed inward. He sank to the floor. His wife didn't touch him. I felt nothing. Revenge doesn't have to be loud to be lethal. I had already moved the money, filed the paperwork, scheduled the meetings. The school would know by morning, so would the lawyers. I turned to his wife and placed the folder back in her hands. "He's yours," I said. "I'm done carrying him." She nodded, not gratitude, understanding. My wife reached for me. I stepped back. "I knew," I told her. "I just wanted you to know that I knew." That was the cut. I watched it land, watched her face rearrange itself around that truth. All her rehearsed apologies evaporated. I left them there, the wreckage, the witnesses. I took my coat. The house felt different when I returned alone, quieter, honest. I packed light. Certainties weigh more than objects. I stood at the door of the child's room. Not my child. I left the light on anyway. Habit dies last. Outside, the night didn't ask questions. Some truths burn you alive. Others cauterize the wound so cleanly you forget you were bleeding. I drove until the city thinned out and the road belonged to me again. I didn't lose my family that night. I recovered myself, and I didn't look back.